Welcome back to Mommy Talk Show. I'm going to put the dads in the hot seat and we're going to talk about breastfeeding, which I'm sure is something that they really, really, really want to talk about. But there's actually a news peg to this because we're here in Atlanta, Georgia, and in Forest Park, Georgia, there was a recent ordinance in an effort to do away with public nudity. They created an ordinance making it illegal for children over the age of 2 to be breastfed in public. I'll say how I feel about that at the end. I talked a little bit with the dads about it earlier on, so I'm going to start with Jim. We're going to go this way. What's your feeling about that ordinance and, people breastfeeding in public in general?
Well, I think, first of all, to actually go as far as making it an ordinance is kind of a waste of a lot of people's time. I think if, breastfeeding is a natural thing, I think you should be able to do it. I do, like probably most people, appreciate when there's a cover-up involved, just to reduce the shock value when you're exposed to something like that, especially if you're not, if you walk up on somebody and you're not expecting it. But I don't have a problem with it, so I think that women should be able to do it, at least up to a certain age, like cut it off at 16.
Yeah, I think at 16 that's called something else. Yeah.
But just like Jim said, I agree that the ordinance was, I think, maybe a waste of time and taxpayers' efforts. But for myself, I've lived out of the country for 6 years. And in most countries, that's not a big deal. My point is, it's natural. I believe that they say that it's a bonding between the parent, the mother, and the child. And that's, and also from a health standpoint, they say it also helps with the immune system of the children. So all of that, if it needs to happen in public, the baby's hungry, then let's go for it.
Okay.
I think that law itself was strange. I mean, I don't know, when you talk about public indecency or public nudity.
Public nudity was what they were trying to do away with.
I don't know how having a 1-year-old breastfeeding versus a 2-year-old breastfeeding, how that changes the nature of breastfeeding. Personally, I think it's at a certain age, maybe not 16, but maybe if they're if they're 4 years old, if they're walking over to you, then I think there's a point where maybe it's a little too much, but certainly not. But that's not the job of the local government to tell you when that cutoff is.
Okay. Craig?
Well, the first thing is I think we all agree that our elected officials have too much time on their hands to sit down and think this thing up when Georgia is definitely facing much bigger issues. But as it relates to breastfeeding, if my child is hungry, I would expect my wife to feed the child, regardless of where she is. But I agree with Jim and with Rich that a cover-up is definitely appropriate. And not just for the shock value, but because I don't want everybody else seeing your breast. Right. No part of it.
Right.
So as long as there's a cover-up, I think we're fine. As far as the age range, I'll leave that to each respective family. I don't think we're going to be seeing anybody breastfeeding at 10 unless we have some mental problems on our hand.
Right. I can just say, for me, I think it's a stupid law because there are bigger issues going on. I am still breastfeeding AJ. If I'm in public, I use my cover-up. I have no problem with that because there are perverts out there. But my issue with this law is, so if 2 is your cutoff, so do I have to carry AJ's birth certificate around to prove that he's below 2? What if he's a small 2 or a big 2 and he looks like he's 4? When you put stipulations like that in there, to me, it creates a waste of time. So then a cop is going to come up to a mom and say, put that breast away, it's a 3-year-old. It's just ridiculous. And there were our group of moms, some of that I know personally, that actually went down there to Forest Park, Georgia, and they held a nurse in where they breastfed in public in front of the city hall to protest.
Yeah, and is someone actually going to write a ticket for that? Are you going to get a ticket at some point? I mean, or is it just a warning? I mean, how many warnings do you get?
Are you going to get a criminal record?
Yeah, for breastfeeding.
You're not going to get a job after this.
By the way, when they went down there, they were known as the lactivist.
Yeah, they're lactivists.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, they are. Thank you for adding that in. I appreciate it. Those are some of the opinions of the dads here that we're taping at our location sponsor, Bean Work Play Cafe here in Decatur. It is a workspace for parents and a play space for kids. And one of the things that I like about Bean is that it's a peanut-free zone. You know, there are a lot of children that have allergies. AJ has an allergy to peanuts, so you can feel comfortable bringing your child here knowing that they won't be exposed to peanuts. Also, if you want to order lunch for you or your little one, Bean can help you with that. They have a lot of fresh and organic options that they can help you order your lunch in. So thank you, Bean, and thank you for watching Mommy Talk Show.